What's going on, everybody? In today's video I want to talk to you about my biggest mistakes in property investing. Now, best believe me, there's been a lot of them. I've been doing property investing for around 4 years now, and I can tell you it's been pretty smooth, but there's been some major bumps in the road. Some stuff I've spoke about on YouTube, some stuff I haven't, but today you're going to find out some stuff that I've never spoken about. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hiya.
171,000.
Yeah.
The owner has rejected it, I'm afraid, unfortunately. As much as they said it's an fantastic figure, really is a great price, they need a personal connection with one of the individuals that have offered. If anything's to change, we'll be sure to let you know. You'll be the first call on my list, because I know you're always out there looking, aren't you? But I'll keep you in the loop if anything's to happen.
Yeah. Alright then. No problem. That's fine. Thank you so much.
No worries. I appreciate your time, Luigi. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
It's cool, bro. It's the game. What are my top 3 biggest mistakes I've made so far in property investing? Number 1, paying my builders on a day rate. Now, this cost me a lot of money. This probably cost me thousands of pounds by not getting a quote for the total job, but actually paying the builders on a day rate. Sometimes there is a need to do this, you know, if you have little finishes that you need doing, maybe you can get them on a day rate and say, right, I'll put you on 2 days rate, blast out all the little finishes that need doing, all the snagging, and that's fine. There's a time and a place for that. But what I did was I ended up paying joiners on a day rate, and there was 2 different joiners in there, and it was charging something like £180 plus VAT, and they literally took the beep. They took the piss, guys. They took so long, and basically they knew that if they delayed the job, then obviously they're going to get paid more money. So it was a massive learning curve and something I will not be doing again. Going forward, I'll get a price for the whole job, and I'll literally get the builders to do the job based off the quote they've given me. So that's lesson number 1, paying the builders on a day rate. Lesson number 2. Okay, so early on in my career, I purchased a property with someone that I was friends with. We went 50-50 on the property. The process took way longer than it should have. Now, because, you know, we was in this together, it was one of those where it did get messy and it did get very awkward at times, because when you're dealing with a friend, you know, you might not have a contract in place. I basically didn't have any shareholders agreement or JV agreement in place at all. This was massively risky, and I've seen it so many times where people, they might be friends of each other, they've bought a property and things have gone a bit sour, or there's been disagreements within the project, and it's cost relationships, you know, it's cost long-term friendships. People have gone to court with their long-term friends, and the biggest mistake that I made was not having a contract in place, because luckily that deal worked out okay and we still did make profit, but it was very close to crumbling down and, you know, becoming probably one of the worst decisions of my life. It could have potentially wiped me out by not having a contract in place that I could. If it did end up going to court or something like that, then with no contract, there's nothing in place to protect yourself and your money and your investment. So I got lucky in that aspect, and it was a massive lesson learned. So my lesson number 2 is make sure you have a JV contract drawn up for any JVs that you're doing or any joint purchases that you're doing. I feel like I just got lucky on that one, and I feel like God was watching over me and he just literally protected my investment on that deal. But it could have gone so differently, and the one thing that I could have done to prevent that is have a strong contract in place which spells out everyone's role within the JV, like a shareholders agreement or a JV agreement, something which would spell out everyone's roles so it's super clear who's putting in the money, who's paying for the refurb, and who's putting what in, and time frames as well. So yeah, massive lesson learned, guys, and that's my tip number 2. Make sure you have your contracts in place. My lesson number 3 was don't get emotionally attached to any deal. Now, sometimes this happens still, but it's something I have to constantly remind myself and say, right, Luigi, this is a business. Do not get emotionally involved in these deals and start feeling down when you lose a really good deal. This is literally pure business, okay? Now, you've heard the saying, keep business and personal separate, and that is a good saying, because I do think you do need to do that. Don't be getting too attached to any of these projects that you have going on, because you'll end up overspending. Say for example, you're doing up a property and you just want it to look amazing. That's good and bad, because yeah, you want the property to look great, but don't start being stupid and acting off your emotions and thinking, I want it to look amazing. No, forget all that. You need to look at the numbers. Does it make sense you spending 50, 60k on a property, which when it's done, it's not going to be worth any more than if you spent 30 or 40k. So really need to assess when you're doing these refurbs, if you want to go high level, is it worth it within that area? Is the demand strong enough to actually make it worthwhile you spending that extra 10, 20, 30k on making it that much nicer? So that's a lesson I learned, because I ended up overspending on one of my projects, just literally thinking I wanted everything to be super high level, and you know what, we just ended up going over budget. So going over budget on your projects when you don't have to, that's definitely a massive lesson I learned. So yeah, that was my 3 biggest mistakes in property. I hope that helps. There's nothing crazy, nothing major, but I'm a very risk averse person anyway, but I do make mistakes, and I'm sure everyone on their property journey is making mistakes. But that's just 3 of them, guys. If you enjoy this video, I might make another video giving you 3 more, because I've got mistakes for days, guys. So if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click the notification bell to stay up to date with all of my latest videos. See you soon.